Most of the time, they were just four guys who got together singing Mickey Mouse Harmony. But occasionally one would come along and it would get to sounding really good. And they would begin to make money on their singing and not on their selling of books. For instance, there was a group called the Blackwood Brothers that started down in Mississippi. And they got so good, they were eventually able to go out on their own and not sell songbooks anymore. And over a period of years became the world famous Blackwood Brothers, who are the patriarchs of Southern gospel music.
That glad reunion day, sung for you by the Blackwood Brothers Quartet. We're certainly glad for the opportunity to visit with you every day at the same time and to bring you some of our favorite gospel songs, hymns, and spirituals, and we hope they're your favorites too.
Swing low, swing. Sweet chariot, why don't you swing down?
First formed in 1934, the Blackwood Brothers made a reputation for themselves on the radio during the 40s. The lineup eventually settled around bass singer Bill Lyles and James and R.W. Blackwood.
James Blackwood is about your best second tenor lead. R.W. Blackwood at that time had a fantastic baritone voice, and Bill Lyles, the bass, just as smooth as you could be. That's why I joined them, to be in there with all those good voices. I wouldn't want them if it had been any other way.
After tenor singer Bill Shaw joined in 1952, the first classic lineup of the Blackwood Brothers was complete.
Here's a song we have many requests for. It's entitled, I'll Tell It Wherever I Go. A song for you by the Blackwood Brothers Quartet, featuring Bill Shaw, our high tenor singer, on the solo part, and Bill Lyles doing the bass fiddle part.
I'll tell of the Savior, I'll tell of his favor.
Bill Shaw was a tremendously high tenor singer. And what made them so good at that time was their high-ranged harmony.
And if I were dying with just one word to say, I speak it for Jesus. Then breathe my life away, 'cause he'll be
The Blackwood Brothers' unique harmonies meant that they became the first real stars of white gospel. They won a prestigious TV talent show and played to packed auditoriums around the South.
Singing, smiling, spread little joy.
For those at the top, travelling was easier. The Blackwood Brothers flew to their concerts in a private aircraft, which the group piloted themselves. But on the evening of June 30th, 1954, tragedy struck.
It was in Clanton, Alabama. They were to do a concert there that night, and the promoter's son wanted to ride in their twin-engine Beechcraft. And so R.W. Blackwood, the pilot, decided that he and Bill Lyles, the bass singer, would take the promoter's son up for a little joyride before the concert.
They were going to take off, and it was unlit. And this was about dusk. Took off, went out. Instead of going out the usual way, it went out by like that, and then all of a sudden, it just went up, just got in that position. He couldn't pull out of it, so it stalled, fell to the ground, and crashed. It burst into flames, you know, and then they were all killed. We never did fly anymore.
When you tears in your eyes,
Huge funeral in Memphis. A very young Elvis Presley in 1954 attended the funeral. Later, it was told he sat with his girlfriend, Dixie Locke, and cried. It was absolutely devastating to anyone who loved Southern gospel music.
Jordan, banks I stand, and the river is deep and wide.
That brought a lot of national attention to them, which they took advantage of. They used it as a publicity, I don't want to say a publicity stunt, but certainly a role in publicity, and they would have memorial concerts and all of that.
Their bass singer and their baritone singer had both been killed in the plane crash, and they hired James Blackwood's nephew, Cecil Blackwood, to sing the baritone. And they got my uncle, J.D. Sumner, to sing bass. And at that time, they moved from a high ranger group to a all-inclusive range group. Now they had the super high end and they had the really low bottom of J.D., who was reputed to be the world's lowest bass singer according to the Guinness Book of World Records.
As well as having the world's lowest voice, J.D. Sumner had a sharp mind. He began to look into how this new group would travel without getting in another plane. His solution would determine the mode of transport for every touring artist who followed.
J.D. said, "I think we can make it without flying." And he went out and bought an old bus and said, "Let's build this thing like a Pullman on a train." So then they went out and they customized the bus. And that was the first entertainment customized bus that ever was. And from then on, you weren't a professional quartet unless you had a bus like the Blackwood Brothers.
For decades to come, and with various lineups, the Blackwood Brothers would continue to dominate the gospel world, eventually selling over 50 million records. From their 1950s heyday, only one singer survives.
It's hard to explain being the last one left. Most people thought I'd have been the first one to go, you know, being a diabetic ever since I was like 14 years old, but the Lord saw different, and I'm still here. And I mean, it feels good. I mean, I'm happy to be here.
Now hear the Lubin.